Okay, Jim. Well, first of all, is there any update on Ryan Strain's injury?
He's due to go for a scan later on today, so hopefully get the results of that back either very late tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll have a better indication as to what the extent of the injury is.
Do you have any indication of how bad it looks at the moment?
Well, it's definitely a muscle injury. It's definitely the hamstring, and it's too soon for us right now to put a length of time on it, but it's a bitter blow, obviously. We worked incredibly hard during the summer to get him in. He had a difficult period last season with the groin surgery, but this is a different injury. It's not a repeat of that one. He's just had a little bit of bad luck, unfortunately, because he was looking great in pre-season, and he had a terrific game the other night as well. So we're all extremely disappointed for him, and it certainly did take the gloss off what was, other than that, a very good performance.
And other than him, this week you brought in Babunski, and how delighted were you to get him in? Because obviously he has a great pedigree, and the others that you've brought in as well, Trapanovsky. I mean, how delighted are you with the squad that you're building?
Yeah, I mean, I think on Saturday against Falkirk we didn't, give a good viewing of ourselves at all. But yeah, I mean, Tuesday night was a lot more like what we're looking for. We're still very much a work in progress. A lot of new players still trying to understand different systems and what's being asked of them. But I think the fans that turned up on Tuesday night saw the quality that the likes of Babunski and Trapanovsky in particular are going to bring to the group. Trapanovsky with a couple of assists and obviously getting the last goal himself, and Babunski just oozes quality in the middle of the pitch, really. Very comfortable in possession, always looking to play forward, which is what you want from a midfielder. And collectively as a group it was a good performance. It gets us back on track in the group, but obviously a very big game now coming on Saturday.
And Babunski himself, what was it about him that sort of attracted you to him, and how long have you sort of been working on that?
Well, I've known David for about 3 years now. I've built up a good network of contacts in Eastern Europe. Obviously, he was playing in the Hungarian league. At my previous club, obviously, we'd done a good bit of business in that league with the likes of Majovski and Ramadani. And Babunski was one that we tried to get to Aberdeen as well, but unfortunately we couldn't make a deal happen at the time. And just delighted that the opportunity came for us this summer. I've maintained the relationship with his representatives, and fortunately we were able to get a deal over the line.
And you're obviously still working hard in the transfer window. Are you close to bringing any more new faces in?
We would expect some new players to come into the squad again, probably middle to the end of next week. We are working tirelessly behind the scenes, much like every other team out there. We're not the finished article by any stretch. We've still a little bit light in certain areas of the pitch, and we'll continue to strengthen right up until the close of the window.
And obviously, as you say, you faced Ayr United this weekend, and you had that good result against Stenhousemuir, and it'll be a tough one though, won't it, against Ayr, because you know all about them and what to expect. Yeah,
I think Scott Brown has done a terrific job in terms of the recruitment at his end. Last season when he came in, he made them very organised, very hard to beat. They're quite a physical team, quite direct. They've got two very good, strong number 9s in Oakley and Dowds at the top end of the pitch. And obviously, a number of the players who were in the squad last season are very familiar with both those guys. So we know what to expect. We know that we're going to have to win those individual battles, but if we can build on the good play from Tuesday night and try and carry that into the game on Saturday, then that will certainly give us a good chance of taking maximum points.
Thank you.
Obviously Falkirk beat you, Ayr beat Falkirk. Do you get a feeling this is a group that could actually go right down to the wire?
Definitely the result on Tuesday night, Ayr beating Falkirk, certainly went in our favour. Ayr United have played a game less than everybody else, so we knew after the Falkirk result that we had to try and win the remaining 3 games to give ourselves a chance of, if not winning the group, trying to be one of those best runners up and trying to get through to the next stage. So there's a huge onus on the game on Saturday now for us. We have to be on the front foot. We have to show the same attacking intent as what we showed against Stenhousemuir. I think the only criticism from the Steny game was that we didn't score more goals, because it could boil down to that as well in terms of goals scored. So we've we've made a step in the right direction after a very disappointing weekend, and all we're asking from the players is a similar level of performance against a tougher opposition.
Just in terms of Christian, obviously that's him up and running now with the goals. That'll do him the world of good, won't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, these games, you can build a bit of momentum, you can definitely get a bit of confidence. Christian came in late to the group, so he's only really been here a couple of weeks. And with these games coming Saturday, Tuesday, you're very limited to the amount of fitness work they can get into these players. So you're trying to get the fitness out of the games. But, he certainly looks a lot sharper this week than what he did when he first arrived. And I think his performance on Tuesday night should be one that excites the fans, because he's an old-fashioned type wide player that just loves to be in 1v1 situations with defenders. The fact that he can go either way as well, is a real nightmare for full-backs. And delighted he got a couple of assists, and obviously capped off a very good performance with the third goal.
Just a final one, going back to David. You look at the fact he came through the Barcelona academy, obviously very well schooled. What kind of player have you got here?
Listen, I don't want to put too much pressure on the lad. I mean, at the end of the day, he's had a great education in the game at arguably the best academy in world football in terms of the players that Barcelona have developed. And he's the lads have been asking him about the certain players that he's trained with over the years, having been there. He's got a nice picture with himself and Lionel Messi and things like that. So he's done things in the game that some of us could only dream of, and you can see the technical ability he has. You don't spend 5 or 6 years in that academy if you're not technically very good. But again, David's only had a couple of training sessions prior to the game on Tuesday, again to get him fitness and to get him the minutes we needed to play him for the hour. And you can see what he brings. He's a very calming influence. He'll demand the ball in tight areas. As I said, he wants to play forward, which is brilliant for the forward players, because there's nothing worse than the ball continuously going side to side all the time. So there's a lot more to come from him, but I don't want to put too much pressure on his shoulders at this moment in time. We have to be understanding of the opposition on Tuesday, with the greatest of respect to Stenhousemuir. When we step up into the Premier League, the quality of the opposition is going to increase, and that's where we'll all be judged then.